Hi, my name is Stephanie. I am a psychic medium and spiritual healer. You can find me under Angelic Energy Light on Facebook or Instagram. Today what I would like to do is share with you how I got started on astral travel and how it first happened to me and a little bit of the background story. And then throughout some other videos, I'd like to share with you the experiences I've had, such as different planets that I've seen or been on, and I'd like to describe them to you and what happened there. Sorry, I just have to refer to my notes. I don't want to miss any important parts for you. So I should mention, though, that I do have a helper when I do this. At first I thought he was a spirit guide, but it turns out that he is actually most likely an ascended master, because later on in my spiritual journey, I found out I have 3 spirit guides, and I got to know them and their names and personalities afterwards. So the one who helps me travel at first called me daughter, and so I felt it natural just to call him father back, so that's how I refer to him, as his father. So the first time I astral traveled, I didn't even know what it was called or what had happened to me. I had recently begun my spiritual journey after my first spiritual convention. I had an amazing psychic reading done, where I was told there was a male spirit guide behind me, and he wanted to put his hands on my shoulders, but he was afraid I wasn't ready. And at that point, she directed me to say that I'm ready, and so I did. And then she said, well, you know, there's different ways you can try to connect with him. You can ask him to come into your dreams. She said sometimes meditation. So I already knew at that point I had some psychic medium abilities. So what I did is when I went home, I opened up the way I would if I were hearing a past loved one. And sure enough, he was there. But I would like to explain to you, excuse me, what it is that I did before I opened up, and what I do each time before I astral travel or leave my body. So what it is I sit with my feet firm to the floor. The first time I did this, I had a clear quartz crystal in one hand and a rose quartz in the other. So I don't always have to hold crystals, but I like to experiment with different ones when I do this. So I hold my hands out in front of me, sitting up straight. I start breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. And it's like and I close my eyes. And then I start to feel the energy below my feet, which is the Earth Star chakra, actually. So I start to feel energy there. Then it slowly travels as I'm breathing in and out, up my legs, and then up through my spine and up through my head and above. And I can feel this, and it's like a tickling, and it's sometimes it's like goosebumps. Then you can really feel the energy coming through your body. So once I did this, my first time meeting Father, he was right there after I'd done that. I looked and he was there in front of me, and he said, I've been waiting a long, long time for you. And he was a man, tall, long white hair, beard, and he was dressed in old attire, kind of like a white robe. And he kind of looks like Jesus, really. And so he had knelt down to my level and put his hands in mine, and it was such a loving and trusting feeling immediately when this happened. It was amazing. So we talked about some things the first time it happened, but I didn't leave my body the first time I did this. The one story I can think of is that he referred to, when we first talked, a tree, and he said, look at that tree. And he said, what's causing that branch to move? Do you know? And because I had really just begun my spiritual journey, I said a very simple answer like a squirrel, and he said no. And he actually said it's energy. And he showed me the tree, the roots of the tree, and it kind of going up throughout the tree. And he said all energy is connected to the earth, and everything here on the earth has energy flowing through it. And that's one of the main stories that I can remember. Unfortunately, I didn't write down my first experience with him, so I don't have all the details. So I guess the next part I would like to tell you about is the first time that I left my body. I didn't astral travel because that actually took me a lot of practice. So I'll tell you about the first time that I did leave my body, and it was with Father. So he directed me that I have wings, and it's something weird because I've always felt like that they were there, so like angel wings. And he wanted me to use them to fly with him. So I was out on my balcony and I was doing the meditation ritual, or feeling my whole chakras up through my head and above. And sure enough, he said, come with me. And it was like it just happened immediately, and I was able to step out of my body. I saw myself. And he said, are you ready? And I said, for what? And I was a little bit fearful because he was standing on the balcony ledge. And he said, come on, we're gonna fly. And I was like, okay. And he said, are you ready? And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So I said, okay. So I took a leap of faith and down I went. It didn't actually hit the ground, but I managed to get enough energy up to like make my way back up to where I was. And he said that was okay, that it's going to take a lot of practice. And the way I felt afterwards is that it took a lot of energy out of my body. And it was kind of draining. So he taught me a couple of things. And it's funny because I had gone swimming and skating that winter, and I hadn't done that in a long time. So when I went swimming, I was floating on the water, and I could hear him say, do you feel that? And I said, yes. And I said, it feels peaceful and weightless. And he says, exactly. That's what you need to feel when you want to fly. Weightless. Just like this. Floating there. And when I went skating, after doing some laps around, he said, do you feel that? And it was like a breeze. I could feel the breeze on my face and like just the power behind when you push. And I said, yes. And he goes, this is what you need as well. You put the two of them together. So weightlessness plus strength. So this is, this made a lot of sense to me. And it took, again, more practice and times leaving my body and just practicing from the balcony. But eventually I did get it. And so in the next video, I would actually like to tell you about the first time I astral traveled and what happened. And I hope you all enjoyed it, and light and love be with you. Until next time. Bye-bye.